When you think of FC Barcelona, you think of tiki-taka and trophies. But what if I told you their story began in the forgotten streets of Spain, where survival was more important than success? From a team on the edge of collapse to producing an 8-time Ballon d'Or winner, this is how Barça went from being underdogs to football's ultimate giant. This is the entire history of FC Barcelona. In the late 19th century, football was still a relatively new sport in Spain, but it was rapidly gaining popularity across Europe. A Swiss businessman named Hans Gamper, later known as Johan Gamper, had moved to Barcelona and, like many expatriates of the time, he loved the competitive spirit of organized sport. In 1899, Gamper placed an advertisement in a local paper, calling for players interested in forming a football team. The response was modest, but enthusiastic, with 11 players coming forward to form the first iteration of FC Barcelona. These individuals, representing a mix of Catalan, British, and Swiss backgrounds, set the foundation for a club that would soon become much more than just a football team. On November 29, 1899, FC Barcelona was officially born. Gamper, the club's first captain and president, imbued the team with values that still resonate today: sportsmanship, creativity, and a deep connection to the local Catalan community. The club's motto, Més que un club, more than a club, would later reflect this strong relationship with Catalonia and its people, symbolizing the club's role not just as a sports team, but as a cultural and political institution. The early years of FC Barcelona were not easy. The team lacked a permanent home and had to compete in various local and regional competitions, often facing logistical and financial challenges. Despite these struggles, the club gradually built a reputation for its unique style of play and its ability to attract talented players from across Europe. Johan Gamper's leadership was pivotal during this period, as he was not only a driving force behind the team's creation, but also its main financial backer. As the 20th century progressed, Barcelona began to grow both in size and influence. The club's first major victory came in 1902 when they won the Copa Macaya, a regional championship. This win gave Barcelona its first taste of glory and set the stage for future successes. However, the club's progress was not without its setbacks. Political instability in Spain, including the rise of Francoism, would soon cast a shadow over the club's development. FC Barcelona's growth cannot be understood without acknowledging its complex relationship with Spanish politics, particularly its connection to Catalonia's struggle for autonomy. From its early days, Barcelona became a symbol of Catalan identity, standing in stark contrast to Real Madrid, which was often seen as representing the centralist Spanish government. During the dictatorship of Francisco Franco, this rivalry took on new dimensions. Franco's regime repressed Catalan culture and language, and Barcelona, as a symbol of regional pride, faced numerous challenges. During this time, playing for Barcelona wasn't just about football, it was a statement of defiance. The stadium became one of the few places where Catalans could express their cultural identity freely. Despite the oppressive political climate, the club continued to thrive, winning numerous domestic titles and solidifying its position as a beacon of resistance against the central government. In the early 1950s, Barcelona entered what is now known as the Golden Era, thanks in large part to the arrival of Hungarian forward Laszlo Kubala. Kubala's signing in 1951 was nothing short of revolutionary. His immense talent, creativity, and goal-scoring ability helped Barcelona dominate both domestically and internationally. With Kubala leading the attack, Barcelona won 5 trophies in the 1951 to 1952 season, a feat that cemented the club's place among Europe's elite. It was during this era that Barcelona also moved into its iconic home, Camp Nou, in 1957. The construction of the stadium was a bold statement by the club, signaling its ambition to become the dominant force in world football. With a capacity of over 90,000, Camp Nou would become not just a fortress for the team, but a symbol of the city's pride and resilience. Kubala's influence on the club was immense. His dribbling, vision, and ability to dictate the pace of play were unmatched at the time. Under his leadership, Barcelona developed a style of play that prioritized technical skill, creativity, and teamwork, a precursor to the tiki-taka philosophy that would come to define the club decades later. Despite the successes of the 1950s, the 1960s and 1970s were more challenging for FC Barcelona. The rise of Real Madrid, under the leadership of Alfredo Di Stefano and with the backing of the Franco regime, meant that Barcelona struggled to compete for both domestic and European honors. Real Madrid dominated La Liga and the European Cup, leaving Barcelona to play catch-up. However, even in these difficult times, Barcelona remained a club with a strong identity and loyal fan base. The team continued to attract world-class players, including Johan Cruyff, whose arrival in 1973 would mark the beginning of a new era for the club. Cruyff, one of the greatest players in football history, brought with him incredible skills and a new footballing philosophy that would shape the future of the club. Johan Cruyff's impact on FC Barcelona cannot be overstated. As a player, Cruyff led Barcelona to its first La Liga title in over a decade, ending Real Madrid's dominance. But it was his return to the club as a manager in 1988 that truly transformed Barcelona. Cruyff introduced the concept of total football, a tactical system that emphasized fluidity, versatility, and possession-based play. This philosophy would become the cornerstone of Barcelona's identity and success for decades to come. Under Cruyff's management, Barcelona won 4 consecutive La Liga titles between 1991 and 1994, as well as their first ever European Cup in 1992. This era, known as the Dream Team era, featured legendary players like Hristo Stoichkov, Pep Guardiola, Ronald Koeman, and Michael Laudrup. Together, they played a style of football that was not only effective but also beautiful to watch, earning admiration from fans and pundits alike. Cruyff's influence extended beyond his time as manager. He laid the foundations for the club's famed La Masia Academy, which would go on to produce some of the greatest talents in football history, including Lionel Messi, Xavi Hernandez, and Andres Iniesta. The principles of total football were instilled in every level of the club, ensuring that Barcelona's style of play would remain consistent across generations. The early 2000s were a period of both struggle and renewal for FC Barcelona. Following the departure of Johan Cruyff in 1996, the club went through a transitional phase, cycling through several managers as they attempted to find success. While Louis van Gaal led the team to back-to-back La Liga titles in 1998 and 1999, his rigid system and clashes with key players like Rivaldo created tension. After Van Gaal's exit in 2000, the club found itself in a slump, struggling in both domestic and European competitions. It was a time of inconsistency and underperformance, with the club failing to win any major silverware during the early part of the decade. Managers such as Karl Rexach and Frank Rijkaard were brought in, with the latter eventually restoring some stability. The turning point came in 2003 when Joan Laporta was elected as club president and made one of the most important signings in the club's history: Ronaldinho. The Brazilian maestro instantly revitalized the team with his dazzling skills, infectious smile, and ability to make football look effortless. Under Ronaldinho's leadership on the pitch, Barca rediscovered their attacking identity, and the club's fortunes began to turn around. Frank Rijkaard, appointed as head coach in 2003, proved to be the right man to guide the club out of their rough patch. He embraced the core philosophy of possession football and developed a dynamic attacking team centered around Ronaldinho, Samuel Eto'o, and a young Lionel Messi, who made his first team debut in 2004. The 2004-05 and 2005-06 seasons saw Barcelona dominate Spanish football, winning consecutive La Liga titles. The crowning achievement, however, was their 2006 UEFA Champions League triumph, where they defeated Arsenal 2-1 in the final, marking Barcelona's second-ever European Cup victory. This win signaled Barca's return to the elite of European football. However, following their 2006 success, Rijkaard's Barcelona began to lose momentum, with internal struggles and Ronaldinho's form declining. By 2008, the team was in need of a fresh direction, setting the stage for the arrival of Pep Guardiola. If Johan Cruyff laid the foundation, it was Pep Guardiola who brought it to its ultimate realization. A product of La Masia himself, Guardiola returned to the club as manager in 2008 and immediately set about creating one of the greatest football teams in history. Guardiola's Barcelona was built around the principles of possession football, high pressing, and quick transitions, an evolution of Cruyff's total football. Under Guardiola, Barcelona dominated both domestically and internationally. Between 2008 and 2012, the team won 3 La Liga titles, 2 UEFA Champions League titles, and numerous other trophies. At the heart of this team was Lionel Messi, who under Guardiola's guidance, blossomed into arguably the greatest player of all time. Messi's partnership with Xavi and Iniesta in midfield, combined with the attacking brilliance of players like David Villa and Pedro, made Barcelona nearly unbeatable. Their 2011 Champions League final victory over Manchester United, where they won 3-1 at Wembley, is widely regarded as one of the finest team performances in football history. But Guardiola's impact went beyond the trophies. His team played football that was both aesthetically pleasing and incredibly effective. redefining what it meant to dominate a football match. Barcelona's possession-based style, known as tiki-taka, became the benchmark for excellence, and clubs around the world sought to emulate their success. When Pep Guardiola left the club in 2012, many wondered if Barcelona could maintain their dominance. But under managers like Tito Vilanova and Luis Enrique, the club continued to achieve success. In 2015, Barcelona won the treble, La Liga, the Copa del Rey, and the UEFA Champions League. Under Luis Enrique, with Messi, Neymar, and Luis Suarez forming one of the most lethal attacking trios in football history. This period also saw Barcelona maintain their identity as a club built around homegrown talent, with players like Gerard Piqué, Sergio Busquets, and Jordi Alba playing crucial roles in the team's success. La Masia continued to produce world-class talent, ensuring that Barcelona remained competitive at the highest levels of the sport. When Neymar left Barcelona in 2017 for Paris Saint-Germain in a world record transfer worth 222 million euros, it marked a major turning point for the club. Neymar had been a crucial part of Barcelona's famous attacking trio, MSN, Messi, Suarez, Neymar, which had brought immense success to the club, including the 2015 UEFA Champions League title. Barcelona struggled to replace Neymar's impact. They signed Ousmane Dembélé from Borussia Dortmund for 105 million euros and Philippe Coutinho from Liverpool for 120 million euros, but neither lived up to their price tags. While Barcelona continued to dominate domestically, winning La Liga in 2018 and 2019 under Ernesto Valverde, their performances in the Champions League became a source of disappointment. The most notable of these was their shocking elimination by Roma in the 2018 quarterfinals, where they squandered a 4-1 first-leg lead to lose 3-0 in the second leg. A year later, a similar disaster unfolded against Liverpool in the 2019 semifinals. Despite winning 3-0 at home, Barcelona lost 4-0 in the return leg at Anfield. By 2020, cracks were showing at the club. Financial mismanagement, poor transfers, and a lack of cohesive planning led to the infamous 8-2 defeat by Bayern Munich in the 2020 Champions League quarterfinals, which symbolized Barcelona's fall from grace. This result led to the sacking of coach Quique Setien and the appointment of Ronald Koeman. Lionel Messi, the club's talisman, publicly expressed his frustration. In August 2020, Messi sent a burofax to the club requesting to leave for free, citing broken promises and dissatisfaction with the management. However, due to legal issues surrounding his contract, Messi stayed for another season, but the relationship between him and the club's leadership, particularly President Josep Maria Bartomeu, remained strained. Bartomeu resigned in October 2020, paving the way for the return of Joan Laporta as club president in early 2021. Barcelona's financial problems worsened dramatically in 2021. The club had amassed over 1 billion euros in debt, largely due to inflated wages and unsuccessful transfer spending. This dire situation led to the unthinkable. In August 2021, Messi left Barcelona because they could not afford to renew his contract under La Liga's financial fair play rules. Messi's departure to PSG left a huge void, both on the pitch and in the hearts of Barcelona fans worldwide. In an effort to stabilize their finances, Barcelona reduced their wage bill and let go of other high earners like Antoine Griezmann, who returned to Atletico Madrid. Despite these challenges, Koeman led the team to victory in the 2021 Copa del Rey, but their league performances were inconsistent and Koeman was dismissed in late 2021. In November 2021, club legend Xavi Hernandez returned as head coach, bringing optimism and a sense of direction. Xavi was tasked with rebuilding the squad and implementing a new playing philosophy rooted in Barcelona's traditional possession-based style. With limited financial resources, Barcelona had to focus on younger talents and free transfers. Key signings during this period included Memphis Depay, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and later Robert Lewandowski in 2022. The 2022 to 2023 period marked the end of an era for FC Barcelona, as several iconic players concluded their storied careers with the club. Gerard Piqué, a Barcelona stalwart for 15 seasons and winner of 30 official trophies, retired just before the winter 2022 World Cup. Sergio Busquets, after 18 years and 32 trophies with the club, announced his departure at the end of the 2022-23 season. Jordi Alba, another longtime servant, left Barcelona after 11 years, during which he won 19 trophies. Barcelona experienced mixed fortunes during this time. On January 15, 2023, the team captured their first trophy since 2021 by defeating arch-rivals Real Madrid 3-1 to win the Supercopa de España. The Catalans also secured their 27th La Liga title on May 14, 2023, with 4 games to spare, their first league triumph since the 2018-19 season. However, the 2023-24 campaign brought significant changes. This was the first season without Busquets, Piqué, or Alba, and the team moved their home matches to the Estadio Olímpic Luis companies as part of the FC Barça renovation project. In the Champions League, Barcelona finally advanced past the group stage after 2 seasons of disappointment, but their journey ended in the quarterfinals, where they were narrowly eliminated by Paris Saint-Germain. In domestic competitions, the club finished runners-up in the Supercopa de España and exited the Copa del Rey in the quarterfinals to eventual winners Athletic Bilbao. In La Liga, Barcelona failed to defend their title, finishing second. Xavi's era as head coach came to a close after 3 seasons, with Hansi Flick confirmed as his successor. The burning question remains: will Hansi Flick thrive at the legendary FC Barcelona? Only time will reveal the answer. But while we wait, let's dive into the story of how their fierce rivals, Real Madrid, rose to global dominance